Hello. I think, how to put it, like, I should claim myself a kind of an old-fashioned utopianist, like a person who believes in a kind of utopia that belongs to the other world, the bygone world of 20th century. Why do I say so? It's because we no longer believe in such utopias. It's gone. Like, precise example that is in front of us is Al-Sabri himself, whom I consider as a postmodernist plus a multiculturalist. Actually, he also believes, pragmatically he believes in something. I respect that too, sir, like in that aspect. Like, he wants to do something, like that. Just to took a very practical example of the port city. I don't have much faith in it though, but as this, Asiatic capitalism is moving, just overtaking everything. China is the next, the empire. The former empire of the 20th century America is sort of almost gone. So now we believe in this new utopia of China coming in and overtaking us and giving us the prosperity and everything. And I don't believe in that. Therefore, I belong to the older century, the older generation. And I vehemently oppose the multiculturalism that is popping up in whatever form. Reason is that I am a universalist. What do I mean by a universalist? Universalist also in the former sense of dissolving all our hardcore identities, not hardcore pornography. What do we have in front of us now? Everybody wanting to hang on to their form of fantasy. That's what they want. Buddhists want their whatever thing, the long bygone tradition to be regenerated, resuscitated. That's what they want. Muslims wanting the same, the Christians wanting the same thing. We all want, therefore, not inclusiveness, some very hardcore fundamentalism growing, burning inside us. That's what they want. That's what we all want. A minute ago, Professor Nirma showed me a bit of a, poster. It's about Sinhala Buddhist nationalism. What do we want? We want the blood of the other. That's what we want. The reason why I am not for nationalism in whatever form, I believe in nationalism. Like, you have Japan for an example. We have China. You have Germany. You have America. All these countries believe in nationalism. It's true. But I don't belong to that category of thinking. No. I belong to another category of, thinking which disappeared in the 20th century. We believed in another utopia, a utopia of solidarity. Utopia of solidarity in the sense that we are all one. At the end of the day, we don't want to keep our hardcore identities anymore because they don't give us anything. What do they give us? Nothing. So I believe in a kind of a so-called, ironically speaking, a kind of a Coca-Cola nationalism, a Coca-Cola nothingness. This is what I believe in. Can we go for this modernity towards its very end, where we find nothing, absolutely nothing? Why? We are afraid of that nothingness. This is what I claim. I have been talking about this for the last 10 years or so. We are scared of this ultimate moment of ultimate confrontation of nothingness. We are afraid of it, and that is one of the reasons why we return back. We go back to the nationalist fantasy. It's a fantasy, like we want to actualize it, no? We want to actualize the lost, the identity. Identity which was lost, number one for us, because of the white master, Sugdange. That's what Nirbal was showing me. Suddange, Jativadyo, Jatikavadyo, whatever. Because one thing, because of the white master, we lost our identity. Next, 1978 open market economy also in a way challenged our, how do you call it, the nationalist identity. Identity of almost everyone. To me, according quoting Zizek, that how do you call capitalism was not strong enough to me in that sense. Al-Sabri is also not radical enough. Reason, sir, because we are not ready, you are also not ready, we are also hanging into some kind of nationalism, we are not ready to embrace the ultimate form of modernity. What is the ultimate form of modernity? Is nothingness, no identities basically. Why do we want such, how do you call it? Now your question would be what? Okay, you can talk about such wonderful utopias. What is the practical way to do that? Now we have what? National development, we have various things to achieve. So what is the practical way for you to, I should tell you also, no? How to dissolve that identity. I should tell you, no? But I have no answer. I have no answer to that. I mean, in its precise sense, in its philosophical sense, I mean, I don't think that I have an answer for, because the former capitalism, the former 20th century capitalism is also over. Now in front of us, what do we have? What we have? Chinese capitalism. And I don't think the Chinese would want us to change ourselves. I don't think. They will come and invest here, and they will do their stuff and they will go. And I don't think that they would be radical enough to change us entirely. Also, the whites didn't have that fantasy to change their subjects entirely, radically. No, they didn't want that. They also invested here. They want, certain, missionary efforts were made and all. That's fine. Actually, the aim of that missionary education was also to change its subjects. Huh? So that kind of, how do you call, idealism is gone in this era. What we have in front of us is like, I respect your identity. I eat bun, you also eat bun. I eat banana, you also eat banana. That kind of a similarity. That kind of, how do you call agreement. That kind of, postmodern agreements. And we have actually, we are not radical enough to go to that very end, the very ultimate end of, so-called Marxist solidarity of, ultimate meeting point of humanity. Not carrying our identity, baggage of our history. That was what Marxist or Brechtian Marxism was all about. Like, we sort of meet at a point where we don't have our hardcore. We don't have our, the radical nationalist element. We have nothing. So I don't think that we can do that, because no one is radical enough to claim that. That's all I have to say.